Hey guys and girls. Um, I just wanted to weigh in on the situation with Ethan Klein and Kaceytron and Frogan and Denims and the whole Hassan or SN thing with Asmongold and Tigtone and everyone else. Um, I used to work in law enforcement. I did it for 5 or 6 years. And we had to deal with a shit ton of people. I mean, lots of kind of people who, if we caught them doing something they weren't supposed to do, or like, for example, the most minor thing was walking their dog without a leash, or just dumping garbage. I mean, metric tons, well, not literally metric tons of garbage, but like things they had in their house, furniture, you name it, clothes, everything, the whole shebang. And sometimes we would get a person who would get all defensive, even though we had enough evidence on them for doing this, like photographic evidence or written letters, official letters with their name and address on it. We would confront them. And the whole idea for the confrontation was, just going up to them, asking why they did this, X, Y, and Z. Can you please clean your mess up, get rid of it, take it to a dump like you're supposed to, yada, yada, yada. But every now and then, we would get a woman who would, like Kaycetron, break out into tears and try to use that as a defense mechanism so she could get her way. I mean, don't get me wrong, not only women do this, men do this too, but they do this in a different way. For example, they get puffy up, they would be more aggressive, they would try to intimidate you. That's what most men do, but women did things in another way, and that was trying to grab hold of your heartstrings and use that against you. And oh me, oh my, look at me, I'm such a poor little person. Now, it's not really diagnosed anything psychologically, but I have found something that kind of explains what these kind of people do. I mean, first we'll take a little look at Kaceytron Asmongold reacting to Kaceytron on the accusations, on how she's being targeted by incels and other followers of, for example, Asmon or Tigtone or anyone who just disagrees with her. So the way she goes is,
we just got done doing our trans lifeline fundraiser and shit, and it just made me so happy.
So she breaks out in automatic tears, explaining something she did with charity, which could be for a good cause. I think it could be for a good cause. But she would directly go into that emotional status and try to tug at your heartstrings to, feel sorry for her. But her, only her. And that's about it, because what's happening to her. She's in a buttload of trouble now with the whole Ethan Klein thing.
You see how she's trying to name drop this stuff. This is what parasites do, is they infect a host and then they pollute it and suck the energy and soul and nutrients out of the host in order to keep themselves alive.
So what Asmon just goes and said is maybe a little bit over dramatic, but the tone is still there. I mean, what he means is true, and that is what you call kind of a crybaby, right? He calls her out for being a crybaby, for using what I think are fake tears. And she goes on.
In this description here, you can see the parasite inserting itself into the transsexual social cause and then trying to extract good boy points from the transsexual social cause in order to make themselves look like they are a good person.
So yeah, we used to get a lot of people, not a lot of people, but we would get people, we would walk up to them because we saw them doing something they weren't allowed to do. And they would get extremely emotional. They would start crying, hoping that we just say, okay, this little slap on the wrist. You can go about your day, leave it. We'll clean it up for you. You poor thing. Now, the thing we did was doing this, we didn't really care for it. We would stay there with a straight face, let them be this way, let them cry, let them, just bitch about what happened or how it's not their fault. But in the end, what we would do was we would just write their ticket. They would have to deal with legal procedures after. That would be in a form of a fine. The maximum fine is about 350 euros, more or less $325, plus the cleanup. And that could go out into like 1,000 euros, give or take, depending on how much garbage they left behind. Now, a person who uses their tears as a defense mechanism can be described in several ways, depending on the specific context. In our context was they were caught red-handed doing something they weren't allowed, and they were trying to talk their way out of it. But instead of just going like, it wasn't me, I didn't do it, they would start to bawl. They would start to cry. They would start to tear up, and some were even good actors. I mean, real good. They would make it so believable. But the only thing that we would do is, as a response to that, is just stand there, looking at them, letting them finish, and then continue saying what they did, that it's going to be a fine. It's not going to be fine. It's going to be a fine. It's going to be about X amount. You can take it up with the lawyers and everything, and you can get your own lawyer involved in this, and you name it. But like I said earlier, it's not a formal diagnosis. This term, it's more like a manipulative crier, emotional manipulator. They would try to manipulate your feelings towards them. And women like this give all other kinds of women who are maybe in some kind of bad relationship or in some kind of bad way, they would give them a bad name, because some people do break down and cry, but you can tell they were genuine. I mean, we had a lady who was down on her luck. She was poor. She lived in social housing. She was sick, and she couldn't make ends meet. No way. But when we were talking to her, she started to cry too, but she kept crying the whole time. She knew she was caught with what she did, but the difference between her and Kaceytron here is she would listen to us. Now, people like Kaceytron, and I bet you, if anyone could call out her bullshit face to face during that crying, she would get aggressive. I mean, aggressive as in shouting, yelling, calling you names. I mean, these kind of people, they peaked in high school. And the worst part is they weren't the popular people either. She wasn't the popular girl. I bet she was more like the girl that would follow the popular girl. The popular girl would probably go on later in life doing maybe great things, maybe not, maybe wedding someone off or starting her own business, maybe being successful in life. But that little follower, the little crybaby, they wouldn't amount to nothing. And the same thing goes for Kaceytron here. I mean, just keep looking.
To position themselves to make people feel sorry for them whenever they are being treated like they fucking deserve.
You get what you get.
Oh, you thought you were there.
I said it's just been such a fucking struggle, and I'm just so
gonna get worse.
She's gonna struggle,
and
though.
just the idea of
It's gonna
having
get a
to
lot
like
fucking suck.
keep on struggling and it just be an ongoing thing for like the next several years.
It's an ongoing thing that she's actively taking part in. She's trying now. What she's trying to do is damage control, but other people would lawyer up. They would bring their defense. They would, have their shit in order. But she doesn't know what she's doing. She's lost. She's lost, and she's reverting to the only mechanism she knows. And that's crying and hopefully manipulating you into giving her money for her GoFundMe. If you want to believe in her side of the story, please donate to her GoFundMe. She fucking needs the help. She can get all the help that she can get, because we all know what's going to happen after this. She's going to lose all that money to Ethan and his lawyers and her lawyers. She's still got to pay for them. So she's going to need the money, so donate to her. Help her out. She's going to need it. And this is going to be your last chance.
Of my life, it's just like, I don't know if
It's not the next several, it's your whole life. Your whole life on the internet. It's just going to keep getting worse.
Also, I don't think it's her whole life on the internet. I believe it's been her whole life regardless. I bet she was like this in school. I bet she was like this with their real life friends, with their relatives. And now she has no one who's going to help her. So back to that old defense mechanism, and that's crying about it.
It's never going to get better.
And he's right. Asman is right. It's never going to get better for her. It's only going to get worse unless she makes a change and not use this defense mechanism anymore. But I mean, take a look. Look at that. This is how, and it's, here we go again. These are how these people are. They peaked in high school. They weren't the front runner. They weren't the top dog. They weren't the alpha in the friend group. They were the follower. They were that sickly little follower they all felt sorry about. Why? Because she used that frickin' defense mechanism about crying about it, tugging at your heartstrings, making you feel all sorry for her, so you'll just drag her along. And people like this weigh on you in life. They would bring you down regardless. So be wary of who you hang out with. If you can't identify that person in your friend group, you're that person. Also, again, go to her GoFundMe, give her some money. She's going to need it. She's got to use all that money to pay Ethan. And, well, yeah, that's my 2 cents. It's not much, but, and if you want to talk about this more, let me know. Hit me up in the comments, and maybe I'll see you some other time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.